Oh shit! Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing? Go! Get the fuck out of here, you stupid idiot! Fuck, we're all dead! Get the fuck out!
When Samantha was born, her parents decided they didn't want her anymore, so when she was 10 days old, they drove out to a forest outside of Gotham and just left her in the middle of it all alone. When she was about 15 days old, she taught herself how to walk. When she was 20 days old, she taught herself how to fight. When she was 25 days old, she taught herself how to talk. She basically taught herself how to survive on her own. She lived in the forest for months on end, fighting and hunting. She never looked her age. At about this time, she looked like she was about 5 years old. The only thing she even ate was raw deer meat. When she was about 3 months, she got bitten in the back, side, and stomach by an extinct tiger. About 3 months later, a girl and a guy named Stephanie and Damien found her and took her to a place called the Hostel. The Hostel is a place that they made where people with powers who either ran away or were abandoned could go and live. Sam lived there for about a week before she was attacked the first time by some people called the Hood. That is when she met Batman. When she was attacked, Batman came to help, but when he got there, everyone was down and she was standing there. He knew that Sam was the one who did it, and he was impressed and defiantly shocked when he heard how old she was. He thought for a sec, but then asked, "I could use a partner. Would you like to be mine?" Sam gladly declined, and he nodded and left. Sam went on living her life, thinking about what Batman asked her. Then, the next night, she knew it. The next day, she got up and shape-shifted into her 15-year-old self and took some money and went out to get some materials. She went back to the house and went straight to the sewing room. She put the materials onto the table and turned on the machine. She started sewing a really tight, really short black belly-button shirt with a red Superman symbol on it. Next, she started making a pair of jet black short shorts that are almost like Daisy Duke's. She then started making a pair of thick-heeled, jet-black boots that reach up to her thigh. After that, she made a cape that is black on the outside and yellow on the inside. Then the last thing she made is a mask that is the original of the mask Robin wears. After that, Sam changed into the costume and put a utility belt on and left the house. She found out where the Batcave was and went and stole some explosives, a grappling hook, and birdarangs. While she was in the Batcave, she quickly went over to the computer and looked to see where Batman went. When she got there, she saw Batman get kicked off a 40-story building. She quickly took out her grappling hook and shot it at a building, then swung off the building she was standing on and grabbed onto Batman and landed on the ground. The bad guy got away. Batman was so shocked, he looked up at the little girl and asked, "Who are you?" Sam looked down at him and answered with, "Girl Wonder." Sam went home and changed out of her costume, putting it in a box, then using her powers to make it invisible to anyone who looked at it but her. About 20 minutes after she got home that night, she went and sat up in a tree and looked up at the stars. Then all of a sudden, Batman popped up in the tree behind her. "I would like my stuff back," he had said harshly to her. Sam let out a tiny scream and fell out of the tree onto her back. "What makes you think I'm gonna give it back?" she said back harshly. They got into an argument, and Batman finally said, "Fine, keep them, I don't care." He turned around, and Sam grabbed his wrist, and then agreed to join him as his partner, and a member of the Justice League. They went on as partners for a while, fighting and taking down bad guys and girls. Then one day, the Hood came back and kidnapped her, beating her really badly. Batman had a hard time trying to find her, but when he did, he was walking up to the building, and it blew up. Batman freaked, but was so confused when he saw her walking with the Joker, her arm around the back of his neck. Now, Batsy, how could you not know where your own partner is?" Batman glared at the Joker and looked at Sam and apologized for not getting there faster, especially because she was beaten so badly. But she just looked at Batman and said, "I will never forgive you for this. The Joker is better at saving people than you." And she walked away. She disappeared from Batman's life, but still helped the League when they needed it, and they helped her. They would never leave her stranded. They loved her like their own daughter, per se. When Sam was 4, she once again was kidnapped by the Hood. For some reason, they just wanted her dead. After she was kidnapped the first time, 3 of the Hood members decided they were no longer Hood members and were from then on undercover there. Their names were Jack, Jimmy, and Timmy. Jimmy and Timmy were twins. Jimmy had the power of fire, although there were complications like his whole body was just fire. And Timmy was the same, but with water. Jack, on the other hand, was ice. Whole body was made from ice. When they heard the Hood kidnapped Sam again, they were trying to save her. Batman too, but when he got there to help, Sam was laying on the floor dead. Batman was so sad. She was like a daughter to him, and given she was only 4 years old, it made him feel even worse. Batman/Bruce made her a funeral and she was buried into the ground. About 5 days later, Sam woke up in the coffin. The angels had given her another chance. She dug her way out of the ground and called Joker and Icicle Jr. to come pick her up. And she left. She did not continue to be Girl Wonder at all. Well, at least for the time being. She just sat at home like a lazy teenager. For at least till she was 5 years old. She looked like she was 10. She decided to go to the mall and watch a dolphin show, and was in the front row, ending up sitting beside Aquaman and his son Kaldor/Aqualad. But she was okay, because she was shapeshifted into some random girl before she went there. She got there and watched it for about 20 minutes. Aqualad had left to get some snacks when the glass started to crack and Sam noticed it. Oh my god! The glass is going to crack? Everyone left except for her and Kaldor. She looked at them, then all the glass broke open. She used as much of her power as she could when her nose started to bleed. She looked over at Kaldor. Question mark? I know you have powers just like your dad, so get off your ass and come help? Kaldor looked at her and went over to help. Kaldor got all the water back into the tank and Sam set a spell and glass popped up where the other glass that broke should be. Aquaman ran in after that and saw Sam and Kaldor talking. He walked over to them and asked what had happened. They explained and he thanked her for her help. She looked at him and smiled and nodded. She then left. Aquaman looked at her while she left and shook his head in disbelief that it was Sam. For about 3 years after that, she laid low. It was easy for her because she was a homeless child. When she was about 8, she was walking along Gotham when she saw on a hill there was a circus. She decided that would be great shelter, so she went and slept under the bleachers. She woke up when she heard a man and women talking. They were part of the Flying Graysons. Their names were Mary and John Grayson. Sam watched them from under the bleachers when Mary noticed her. Mary looked over at John and told him there was a young child behind the bleachers. He looked over at them and smiled slightly at her. "You can come out, you don't gotta be shy," John said nicely to her. Sam walked out slowly and shyly to them, looking at the ground. They both smiled and Mary walked over to her and went down on one knee, lifting Sam's chin. "I do not wish to be rude, but what are you doing here behind the bleachers?" Sam looked her in the eyes and said she did not have anywhere to sleep, so she came and stayed the night behind them. Mary and John felt really bad for the young girl and gave her a free ticket for the show tonight. Sam smiled and skipped away happily. A couple hours later, Sam came back for the show and sat in the front bench with some blank paper and a pencil and eraser. She watched every bit of the show until Dick Richard Grayson, Robin, and his parents came on ready to perform. As they were performing, Sam drew a picture of their performance and then sat and watched the rest of it. After the show, leave through the back and everyone else left through the front except Sam and Dick. As Dick was leaving through the front, Sam jumps off the bench and ran over to him, making him stop right in front of the entrance. Sam smiled. "I drew you a picture. It's of yours and your parents' performance." She took the folded paper out of her pocket and handed it to him. Richard unfolded the paper and looked at the perfectly detailed picture of a part of his parents' performance. "This is amazing!" They both looked into each other's eyes and looked away, blushing. They both looked back at each other, and Sam blushed even more. I think I like you." Dick looked at Sam and brushed some hair out of her face. "I think I like you too." As his parents walked into the room quietly, Dick leaned in and kissed her. His parents saw and his mother smiled at John, whispering, "That's so cute," to him. John chuckled a little. "Richard, supper's ready." Dick and Sam laughed a little. "I'll be right in," he said and looked at Sam, inviting her to dinner. Sam nodded and accepted the invitation. Richard smiled and took Sam's hand, walking to their little trailer to eat. When they walked in, Dick, right away, went and sat at the table after washing his hands, watching his mother put raw steaks on a barbecue. Sam walked over to Mary and looked at the steaks.
"These look really good,"
Sam said, taking a raw steak off the barbecue and taking a bite out of it. She turned around with the raw steak still in her hand, seeing the grossed out expression on Dick's face. Sam looked at him.
"What? This is what I ate when I was young. Actually, all my life."
He shrugged and we both laughed a little. Sam sat down beside him. They talked and talked while eating. Sam didn't eat very much, but she at least ate some raw meat. Winky face. When everyone was done eating, Sam and Dick helped clean off the table and do dishes. For once in 6 years, Sam felt like she was part of a family, except for the fact that she realized she had a crush on Dick. Once they were finished cleaning up, Sam and Dick left the trailer and went for a walk, talking about Dick's life and how he got into performing at the circus as an acrobatic. "What about you?" he asked Sam, interested in how she ended up watching the show or in Gotham in general. Sam told him only the fuzzy, nice things about her life, because if he really knew who she was, he wouldn't like her anymore. Well, at least that's what she thought. She just really didn't know how much Dick was falling for her. Every second he spent with her, he just kept falling even more for her. As they were walking, they walked up to a tree on the top of a hill and stood under it. Dick smiled at her and looked into Sam's eyes, putting his arms around her waist. Sam blushed deeply, but played along and put her arms around his neck. Dick pulled her close to him, just close enough so their bodies were touching. He whispered into Sam's ear,
"I really like you. Would you like to be my girlfriend?"
Sam looked at him shocked, thinking it was a little fast, since they had only met about 2 hours ago, but she liked him too, so she just nodded and said yes. When she said that, Dick pulled her into another kiss. Then he pulled away and the words, "I love you," accidentally came out of his mouth, and when Sam heard them, she just had to laugh a little. For the past week, Sam and Dick were spending most of their time together. Sam would always go watch their shows, eat with them, and sleep in their guest bedroom. After every show, Sam and Dick would go out and hang or just lay low and watch some soccer or something, and a lot of the time, she'd go with him and he'd show her some acrobat skills, which she thought was very fun. Sam was happy. She thought that she actually found a place to live, and she thought she found some family and friends, a place where she could call home and not have to leave right away. But she was wrong. At about the end of the week, Dick and his family were going to go and set up their act and everything, but Sam told them she would and went to do it. When she got there, a man named Zucko was there. Sam didn't see him at first, so she walked right over to the stage to get stuff set up. The thing is, Sam and Zucko have a past. When she was patrolling, she ran into him and got him arrested for trying to rob a bank. He still holds a grudge on her and wants her dead.